the screen. And here we are. Okay, let's count. Go ahead, Jordan.
All right. 10, 9,
Nine,
8,
eight,
7,
seven, six,
6, 5,
five,
4,
four,
3,
three,
2,
two, one. And we
1.
have liftoff.
Where does yesterday's future, which is already here, meet today's future, which is about to happen, and tomorrow's future, which could be just minutes away? Welcome to Technology Revolution, the future of now, where host Bonnie D. Graham asks savvy futurists for their predictions about the tech-driven trends that are shaping our future right now. Here's your host, who will take us into the future of now, Bonnie D. Graham.
Thank you very much to the wonderful voice who introduces me. I'm Bonnie D. here in the house. Happy to be here. We have a very special show today. Yes, we're going to do predictions. Yes, we're going to talk about AI. Yes, we're going to vroom. That's a clue into the future. But we're also going to talk about the future of cars, the future of the driving experience, the car experience. What happens when you get behind that wheel or in the passenger seat or in the back seat? We want to know. I have a panel of three people who are bringing us not just their predictions, but stories. And I might chime in with a couple of my own. So there's two titles for this show today: Technology Revolution, the future of the car experience. Mom and Dad, are we there yet? And the other one is the future of the car experience. Baby, can you drive my car? Simon likes it. I thought I'd have a little fun with the title. So I have it. I want to welcome my three panelists. We have returning two guests and one a newcomer, Bill Brown. I'll say hello to you first. Bill was referred to us by Eric Simone. Eric Simone is here. Everybody's got a wonderful beard. It must be the end of winter. I don't know where they were all on vacation, but everybody looks absolutely handsome. So let me start with my opening here and a shout out to our engineer today, Jordan Henson at Voice America Business. So here we go. Welcome, global audience, to Technology Revolution's Glow. Bonnie D on her Scarlett Mic, your host and guide. Oh, you know. Today we shift gears. You're going to hear all of the little references here. We shift gears to a topic profound: the future of cars where AI knows no bound. From smart automation to drives redefined, innovation accelerates, vroom, leaving the old behind. When I call your name, wave hello. Simon J.A. Meitz. From circular systems to ESG's call, Simon's vision drives it all. A leader in strategy, bold and wise, shaping green futures where innovation flies. From EY Carbon to Roran's quest, sustainability is Simon's steadfast test. With insight sharp and visions grand, he helps drive change with a guiding hand. What'd you think?
Amazing. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And I always love your openings.
I'm glad I do a different one every single time. Eric Simone is here. Welcome back, Eric.
Thanks, Bonnie.
IoT, Edge, and AI's might. Eric builds the future so bright. At Clearblade, he leads the way, pushing tech to a bold new day. From Purdue's halls to software fame, vision and code define Eric's name. With insight deep and a mission clear, he fuels tomorrow year by year by year. Eric, what'd you think?
Nice. Spoiler up. You got Purdue in there. I love
There,
it.
oh, hey, Sylvia and I worked hard on this one. Bill Brown is here. Bill, wave hello. In the 80s, with just 16K, Bill saw the future. He paved the way. From AT&T to IoT, innovation set his mind so free. Rescuing projects, fixing the failed, with wisdom earned and knowledge nailed. A tech trailblazer, bold and true, shaping the smart world, old and new. Bill, what'd you think?
I think that's amazing. I've never sounded so good.
It's you, I promise. So stay tuned, dear audience, as we explore this revolution in tech, innovation, and more. AI meets driving and cars with proponents strong-willed, with Bonnie D and her savvy futurists. The future is ours to build. So, how'd I do? Pretty good?
Oh, excellent.
Amazing.
Good.
Always great.
Thank you. Bill, you're the newcomer here. I always do a rhyming intro for my guests. Did you enjoy that?
I sure did. I thought it was great.
I'm
I liked each of them. It was
I'm
awesome.
glad. Good. I'm glad. So now let's do a little bit of a fill in. If I missed anything, hello, in your entire life, career, everything, let's just take about 2 minutes each to fill in some blanks if there's anything you want to tell us about yourself. So, Simon, I'm putting you on speaker view. Please give us a little more. And welcome back for the 99,000th time. Go ahead.
Thank, thank you so much. I think I've what's about me is like a core about me. I think I lived in like so many different countries by now, all across the globe. Started out in Germany first, UK, then in in the UAE, did projects all over the place, and I think this sustainability challenge, if we're talking about the strategy for a global change to design a greener future, I think that comes in very handy. And this is something I think what I'm all about. It's about working together, not within, it's not one player that changes the future. It's more than one. It's not one country. It's not Europe. It's a challenge that we have to tackle globally. And I think the automotive industry is one of the key sectors we need to focus on when it comes to sustainability, and AI is one of the driving factors within that space.
You got
So-
that word driving in there very, very nicely. Eric, Simon, I want you to move back a little bit. We're cutting off the top of your head. There we go. And that car behind you. We'll talk about that in a minute. You're going to take me for a ride in that later. I know you promised. Eric Simone, welcome back for the also 99,000th time. Eric, anything I missed in the bio? Give us a little fill in, and what have you been up to?
Oh gosh, Clearblade, we're constantly innovating on AI, of course, IoT and edge computing. We're the very first company to launch edge computing software way back in 2014. So Bill's nodding his head because we've worked together. And you didn't miss much. I'm a car enthusiast, but not a gearhead. So I'm a guy that can maybe drive the car, but I can't even tell you how many cylinders it has half the time. And my racing friends will laugh at me driving because I'm actually not that good, but I've been on the track a few times.
But I bet you look really cool in your car. We're going to talk about our cars in a minute before we go to the quotes and the predictions. So get ready. Bill Brown, so happy to meet you. Thank you for joining on the recommendation of Eric Simone. He must be a very good friend to bring you here, and you must feel the same way. Bill, I'm putting you on speaker view. Would you give us a little more about yourself, please? And welcome.
Sure. Well, first, thank you for having me. And Eric, thanks very much for bringing me into this. It's a great experience. And Simon, it's really nice to meet you. So myself and Ingress Software together, our focus is almost exclusively around IoT at the edge, and then bringing intelligence with AI. AI is everywhere now, but and Eric knows this, right? But well, many know this. And when those of us working in IoT have been playing with AI from the beginning, we've been trying to make predictive analytics, trying to predict the temperature of your home and all kinds of different things. So it's not new necessarily to us, but it's the direction we're going, and we've now got certifications and professional certificates backing up all of our team. So we're excited about what the future holds for us.
Thank you very much. Nice to meet you. So let's do a couple of stories before we get to the predictions. I love your predictions. I got a couple of them started already, but let's do some. So let's start with your favorite car you've ever owned. Ooh, or your top 2 or 3 or 9 favorite cars you've ever, or a series of cars you've owned that you still like to talk about or think about, or you're still drive. I'm making it so broad here, Eric. You've got to fit in there somewhere. He's saying, really, Bonnie, you're going to make me talk about that? Simon, let's start with you. And Simon, just move over a second. I want everybody to see that magnificent thing behind you. Oh, okay. Is this a real car? Is it real?
That's a real car, yeah. Of course.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure because I've had AI draw some future cars for me, and they were a little multicolored, but they looked like that. So
that was
Simon,
that's a real car. That's a Porsche Taycan, and that's me driving that in Finland.
Nice.
Wonderful. So tell us your favorite cars. I'm going to leave us on gallery view so everybody can see the reaction shots. I want to see what Bill says.
Yeah. Gosh, most favorite car that I owned. I've driven amazing cars in my life. I haven't owned many cars. So if we reduce it to the cars I've owned, or actually the car I still own, it's a 2012 Q7. Huge, like for Europeans, it's quite a huge car. For the Americans, it's rather small, I guess. 4.2 liter diesel, so I at least know what kind of car it is. I I love this car because it has like it actually has like two extra seats in the back. I can put the stroller in for my baby boy with nearly 2 years old right now. And one of my big hobbies is hunting, so it's important that it literally has like a four-wheel drive. And I think I am one of the only people who are actually driving that car properly in the woods through the mud. And I needed that four-wheel drive, and this car lift generally a lot last weekend even.
Thank you. Favorite car, Eric Simone. What you got?
Oh, you're gonna make me choose. So I've got, gosh. I think the one I just got rid of a year ago, and I'm still sad about it, is my Audi R8 V10 that I had on the racetrack several times. I moved from Austin to Chicago, so it's not the Chicago car. It's more of the Austin, Texas car. But I love that car. The one I had before it was equally as awesome. I had a Porsche 911 Turbo that I bought on eBay while my wife was pregnant by accident.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. By accident belongs to what part of that sentence? Eric, what was it by accident?
Well, I was in between jobs after I left Proficient, and I was drinking a lot of scotch at night. And I was on eBay, and I saw this car, and the low price was $80,000, and I'm like, that's a good price for a car. I only had 300 miles on it, right? So I put a bid in, and then I looked and go, oh my gosh, the bid is ending like in a few hours, like at 6 a.m. or something. So I go to bed, and my wife wakes up. I said, we may have bought a new Porsche, but don't worry about it. I'll tell you in the morning. And then I ended up buying it. It was a fantastic car. Yeah.
That's a story for the ages. That is on so many levels. You bought it by accident. I think that's where the accident belonged.
And it was wonderful. And then the car just before that, I loved. It was my first real sports car. I bought in '95. Was a very wild car called the Dodge Viper.
Ooh.
It was an RT10. I mean, RT topless. And I almost was my coffin a few times in San Francisco. So we won't talk more about that.
What color was the one you bought on eBay? I'm curious. What was the color?
It was like a seal gray.
Okay. And Simon, what was the color of your car you were talking about?
Same color.
Same color. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Bill Brown, your turn. Regale us. What's your favorite? We lost Bill. Where'd he go?
Oh.
Did I scare him? He's coming back in. Okay, let's let him back in.
I mean, the only great thing about this color is you don't need to wash it that often.
No, it was great. And by the way, I had the same color Q7 for 11 years. I had the 2013, I think. So that car was fantastic. Don't get the Q8. I'll tell you right now. I have the Q8. Stick with the Q7. We can talk offline about why.
We will. Bill, I think I frightened you when I asked you for your favorite car because you disappeared for 10 seconds. Bill, you're back. Why don't you tell us what's your favorite car you've owned or driven?
So I've had several cars. I'm more of a truck person. Every time I sell my truck, I get a car, and then I immediately turn around and get another truck. But right now, the one I have right now is really the one I like the most, and it's not necessarily a flashy truck, but it's the new Chevy with the baby diesel engine. So it means I can tow my boat with the same performance that I could previously, with a smaller engine and better gas mileage. So now when I'm driving down the highway traveling someplace, I could get about 32 miles to the gallon on this pickup, whereas my other pickup would get like 12. So
okay, that's a big difference. Can you face us forward? You're looking to the side. I think that's where your monitor. There you go. There you go. And what color is this truck that you've got?
Oh, it's black. It's black.
Oh.
It's got dark windows. It's got the blackout kit. I think it's a sharp looking truck.
I bet
I almost bought another one. I brought it in to get an oil change, and I was looking at the newer ones, and I didn't, but I came really close to just trading it in and getting the next one. But
very, very cool. Somebody asked me what my favorite car is.
What's your favorite car, Bonnie?
Eric, I thought nobody would ever ask. I'm a Z car person, and I have owned 5, which started out with the Datsun and Nissan. Yeah. I've had the 280, I've had the 350, I've had the 370, and I always bought them used. The first one was the blue with the silver stripes. Remember the 280? It was a plus two. I think it had seats in the back. And one of my mother's friends got stuck in the back when I picked her up somewhere and we couldn't get the woman out. We took 3 men to boost her out of the back seat because she wasn't a big woman, but it was just so narrow getting out of there. Yeah, very much. And so I've owned 5 of those and I drove them, bought them at anywhere between 30 and 50,000 miles on them. I can't tell you what was under the hood, but I loved them. I love that low road feel. And I will tell you that I was propositioned to sell my car by men of all ages, whether I was pulling out of the driveway of my co-op building in Long Island, New York, or whether I was at the Midtown Tunnel about to go in and people would roll down the window and say, "Hey, lady, you want to sell your car?" Literally, it happened all the time. Teenagers, grown men, no matter where I was, people waving, they loved those cars. And then the last one was in a almost tragic accident that is a miracle. And I'll send you all my story. I wrote a piece of micro nonfiction, micro real story about the accident that I really shouldn't be here. And I was bereft because at that point, which was in 2022, you couldn't get another Z. The second they hit the online sales, Carvana, all of those, the second that somebody posted it, they were bought. Every car dealer in Durham, North Carolina couldn't keep them on the lot. They were selling because they weren't making the convertible anymore. Right. They had stopped making that model. And
what color? What color?
That one was white. I think most of them were white over the years, but that one was white with a red rag top and red leather seats. Sharp as can be. But I needed a Z. And one day I drove up to a Chevy dealer and I said, "Hey, you got any nice semi-exotic, not too expensive cars on the lot?" And this young man said, "I think I have the car for you." He got in this little golf cart and he drove a couple miles away and he came back. He said, "I have got a Z4 on the lot, one owner, 25,000 miles. Do you want it?" I said, "Bring it on." He showed me the car. It has so much computer power in it, I didn't know how to do anything in it. He had to drive it to my house and give me a demonstration. It took me a month. After the accident, I didn't drive for a month. Anyway, I wrote a check that day and I bought that Z4. And it's a black Z4, it's a BMW, and it's a convertible, and it's just stunning. And a friend had the vanity plate done for the front license plate for me, and it says AKA Radio Red on a mirrored plate. So it gets a lot of attention, but it's a beautiful car. It's almost a stealth car. But the point is, it's a Z. It's a Z4. So I stayed with the Z. So nice. One question, any particular memorable experience in your favorite or not so favorite car? I've already given you some of mine. Any favorite something that happened? Nothing too adult, please. Simon,
I have no stories then, Bonnie.
Make something up. Just this is a fantasy
I'm
show.
Sorry.
Simon, anything you want to share?
Well, fun story. Actually, just a few weeks back, we did Lamborghini winter experience drive thing, and we actually managed to tie like a rope on the car. Yeah, it was a Lamborghini Stelato, and I was driving the car whilst my the best friend of mine was actually taking a snowboard, and I was like pulling him through the parking lot, which was actually really fun, and up the winding roads, which were closed. Very important.
Yes. Okay.
Interesting.
Good. That was fun.
Eric, now do you have a favorite car story? Something you and your family would allow you to share with us?
Yes. I the Audi R8 I had on the Formula One track in Austin, and with a professional driver who's really showing me how to drive it. It was fantastic. And then he put me in the driver's seat, and we are going down the straightaway to turn 11. Anyone that knows the Austin track, turn 11 is a hairpin turn. And as I'm coming into the turn, that the guy's going, "Okay, brake," and I'm hitting the brakes, nothing. We had lost brake pressure completely because my brake fluid had boiled. So as I'm hitting the brakes, which aren't working, I fishtail the car into the rocks and get about, about 2 inches from the wall and stop. So yes, both hearts beating profusely. We had to tow it out and get the rocks removed from the rims, but we survived. And he actually gave me compliment on at least surviving, because he's like, "Wow, you fishtailed properly to keep us from hitting the wall." So yeah, So I had to
Fishtailed
replace
properly.
my tires. Yep, yep.
That's memorable. Fishtailed properly.
It
I'll
was.
I'll have to remember that one. Bill Brown, any favorite stories in any of your trucks, cars?
I do. I've got one favorite, not quite as exciting as Eric's, right? But and it's one of my early trucks I had purchased, and I decided I was going to go cheap and not get the four-wheel drive for whatever reason. Actually, it wasn't too early. I think it was 2016. So, and this particular truck had an aluminum bed, so the tail end of it was really light. And what had happened was I'd driven off the concrete driveway into the grass, but the truck wasn't heavy enough for it to grip the tire, so I couldn't pull it over this little 2-inch lip. So I decided, okay, not a problem. I'll just pull forward, go down go down the hill into my yard, turn around, and then come back up and drive out. Without four-wheel drive, that truck couldn't pull itself out of grass. And it couldn't make it back up that hill. I had to get somebody to come hook me up to a winch and pull me out of my backyard. So while my wife was hollering that we were going to go into the pool, which I don't think we were that close, but she was really close.
I have a similar story. I was trying to sell the cosmetic line that starts with the letter M and the last letter K many years ago in Oregon when I was living there, and I got an appointment to go to some place that had acres of mud in front of their house. It was a farm, I guess. And I went and I was trying to sell lipsticks and whatever to the woman and her daughters. And we had a lovely time. They ended up buying nothing. I went back in my car and discovered that I had parked in a place that was just freshly rained, and my car was about 4 inches deep into the mud. So we waited till the morning. Somebody gave me a ride home, and I had to have a tow truck come and pull the car out of the mud. And the rocks and the mud had gone up into the wheelbase. They had to dig, I won't use the SH blank T word. They had to dig that out of the frame of the car, because as I was spinning, everything was going up onto the underbody of the car. So I remember that very, very well. So, well, thank you for sharing those. Show's over. No, we got more work to do here. I've never done this with stories before, but I thought it was time for a little update, even though would you believe we're almost a quarter of the way through 2025? Eric, is it flying for you? Where is it going?
It's going too fast.
I agree. You blink and here we are. Anyway, let's go to our quotes. I've asked you each to send me a fictional quote from a movie character, TV character, a song lyric. Let's do this fast and then we'll go to predictions. We're actually doing really well on time here. So Simon Meitz, you have sent a quote from P.T. Barnum, played by Hugh Jackman. The movie is The Greatest Showman, 2017 musical drama film. Critics questioned the artistic license and the overdramatic story, but it was a box office success. Here would have been an interesting angel investment for all of you. It grossed almost $460 million on a budget of $84 million. Not a bad investment. It won, it won at 61st annual Grammy Awards. It won for the best original song, This Is Me. There was a stage application, adaptation, all that good stuff. Here's the quote. This is interesting, Simon. Comfort, the enemy of progress. Oh, Simon, that's deep. Go ahead. I'm putting you on speaker view. Tell us, what in the world does this have to do with the future of cars, as if we don't know? Go.
Thank you so much. So, comfort is the enemy of progress. So what does it mean normally? It means like comfort. If you're too comfortable, it means stagnation. It means you might lose your drive. It's maybe not, it's good enough. So there's no urgency to improve something. But on the other hand, I think discomfort, or maybe if there's a delta to more comfort, is a real driver for progress. And the key here right now is not what I'm saying, but actually what I'm not saying. If I'm talking about comfort here, and I haven't even mentioned sustainability. So the real deal here is that sustainability is we have to create a more sustainable world. That's important, but we have to do it not on the back of this small minority of sustainability enthusiasts that would maybe, let's say, pay a price premium for a greener car, but we have to actually design business models that are that work for the majority of the population. So we're talking about cars, and in that case, cars that are a lot more comfortable, cars that have maybe a much better immersive experience, that give us a lot more, that have a better price. You can reach longer distances, that really fit your lifestyle as well. And we have to combine that with a green transition. So apart from all of that, the car still has to be green, of course, to make that transition, but this is not the key driver for the main population. And that should be, i.e., comfort should be the driver, not necessarily the sustainability to reach the wider population.
Thank you. Very human commentary there. Yes, about what our mood is, what we're thinking and feeling. I want to feel good when I get in my car, right? I want to feel special, whether people are saying anything about it or not. I want to feel safe. I want to feel I'm going to get where I'm going, and maybe I want to have fun while I'm doing it. Oh my, what a thought. Let's go to a quote from Eric Simone. Eric, it took me 3 years to learn to pronounce your last name, and I hope you're very proud of me because
I am proud of you.
I'm really working hard at this. You have picked a quote from Radiohead. The song is No Surprises. It was on the album from 1997, OK Computer. Anybody doesn't know, they are an English rock band. This was their fourth and final single from their third studio album, and it was released as a mini album in Japan as No Surprises Running from Demons. The music video features, who does it feature? York, what's the name? Tom York, T-H-O-M, Tom York, wearing a helmet as it fills with water. Inspired by 1960s sci-fi and underwater escape acts. Inspired by the lyric, "A job that slowly kills you," they conceived a video to convey the feeling of murderous seconds. I'm going to leave that one alone. It was the 107th best track of the preceding 15 years in 2011 on NME. So here's the line. No alarms and no surprises, please. You want to sing it for us, Eric?
Sure. No alarms and no surprises, please.
Okay, let's have a round of applause.
Yeah.
Pretty good there. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm putting you in speaker view. What does this have to do with our topic? Go ahead.
So it's funny, as a kid that learned to drive in the 80s, right, with no seat belts and no alarms and no surprises, I find the cars of today somewhat annoying because I'm constantly getting beeped at no matter what I'm doing, right? So I'm just backing out of my driveway. If there's a bush that's a little sideways, I'm getting beep, 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 beep to the point where you just tune it out. So I kind of miss no alarms and no surprises of the old school days. I recognize that I'm a dinosaur and all these things are good. But as we move into the future with automobiles, I think that's a big theme, right? No alarms and no surprises. We're going to start getting away from these alarms, and you're going to get to automated driving. You're already seeing it. We're going to get to driverless vehicles. I kind of lament the coming days, but my kids don't seem to mind it too much. For those of us that like to drive, but it makes a ton of sense because we'll be safer. It'll be more convenient, less congestion, on and on. So I'll take the positive spin on Tom York's No Surprises with saying, hey, look, the future of automobiles and driving should be no alarms and no surprises.
I like that. I like that a lot. I'm thinking of other car stories I should have told you in the beginning, but maybe we have time at the end.
We could do a whole show on that.
Talk about surprises. We might do that. We might do a redux on what would you like to change about a car experience. I'll talk to all of you afterwards. Bill Brown has sent us a quote from Captain Jean-Luc Picard, played by who else? Patrick Stewart, sci-fi TV series Star Trek: The Next Generation. This was season 2, episode 3, Elementary, Dear Data. It debuted on December 5, 1988. It was the 29th episode overall. Set in the 24th century, the adventures of the Starfleet crew of the Federation starship Enterprise D. A holographic adversary is created on the Enterprise holodeck with Data and Geordi play a Sherlock Holmes game. The plotline was continued in season 6, Ship in a Bottle, nominated for 2 Emmy Awards. There we go. I hope I did justice to that, Bill. Here's the quote. Things are only impossible until they are not. Oh, Bill, what does this have to do with our topic? Go ahead.
our topic is, cars in the future and artificial intelligence in the future. All of the things that, if you go back to the 80s, many would have said are not possible or not likely to occur in our lifetime, probably. And so really, we shouldn't let the perception of what can be done or what we believe can be done stop us from doing things. I try to apply that in even smaller cases, right? Often, working with folks, clients, or even some on my team, the question will come up, can we do that? How can we do that? Is it even possible? And you don't want to veer away from it just because something seems unsurmountable. You really got to push through and persevere to try to make that deliver on what your goal is, right? What you're trying to deliver. So if it's only impossible until it isn't.
There you go. You got to give it a try, right? Give it a whirl. Get behind that wheel.
Yeah,
Give it a road test. There we go. Okay, let's go to predictions now. I'm just going to read instead of putting them in the chat for you because there's just three of you. So just bear with me here. Simon, I'm looking at prediction number 4, talking about the future of cars and AI. You say AI-powered conversational assistants will be your new co-pilot. Smarter, chattier, oh my, and actually useful. Okay, why don't you tell us what this means? Go ahead, unpack, Mr. Meitz.
I think we can see that the voice assistants or voice assistants in general are on the rise. We can nearly have a normal conversation already with ChatGPT on our phones, and I think that's a trend that will transpire into the automotive world, of course, as well. The AI-powered assistants will, of course, become smarter and smarter over time. They will learn our behavior, our preferences, what we like, what we dislike. That we even are able to pick up actually on our mood when we're entering the car, our vital signs, our facial expressions, and so on. And by that, they will be able to recommend and adjust the car experience to what we actually need. So it's not a short conversation anymore. If the AI thinks maybe you're hungry, it's not about, hey, find a restaurant. It might be that your AI co-pilot actually says, hey, I noticed you skipped lunch, so because you didn't stop at a lunch place at any time. Do you want to stop at a sushi place because that's what you really enjoy? The one you liked last time very much is just 2 kilometers away, and maybe or I found another place that you can check out because it has great reviews and so on. So it will be a lot more immersive, this experience, and it will be a lot more fun and individualized to talk to your AI co-pilot. Also, of course, the AI in the cars will have applications within the as a safety and, let's say, efficiency advisor. So it will also talk to you about the traffic trends and detect when you're tired, and then suggests maybe, I don't know, another playlist to go out for a coffee or whatever it is. Yeah. And in terms of safety, we can think about things like analyzing the weather for your journey, suggesting a safe place, a safe place to stay, and whatnot. And I think all of these little tiny puzzle pieces add up to a super immersive experience, and adding this like real lifelike conversation with the AI co-pilot is something that will really make that AI more like a proper co-pilot, a proper friend, maybe even, and somebody that can be super useful and give you an experience that is tailored to your individual needs.
I think you're talking about two different levels of immersive. I'm going to get some comments here from Eric and Bill, but for me, it sounds like AI is immersed inside of the human. if it knows what you had for lunch and where your favorite restaurant would be and what kind of playlist you know, how tired you are. Are we talking about IoT sensors on the person, on the seat? Let's leave my questions on the table for now. Eric, any comments on this?
Yeah, I think you'll do it with in-car video, right? It'll recognize facial expressions. It'll recognize your positioning. AI will adapt to your driver's preferences. Cars do that now. We save your settings, but it'll get much more seamless, right? It'll just know who you are and know how you drive and know what music you like to listen to. And you'll have a voice assistant, just like Star Trek, right? You'll just talk into the air and your car will, Bonnie, you'll be able to speak French in your car, to your car, all that. I mean, I think that's going to come. I think Simon is dead on all this. That's going to come relatively quickly because we're already seeing these features today.
Okay. Bill Brown, thoughts?
Yeah, I agree. I agree with both of them. The car will, it may even get to the point where it can start to detect whether or not you're running a fever using again, the video technology or IR to measure your temperature as you're sitting there in the car, things like that. So it'll start to collect information about us that we may not necessarily even use immediately, right? It may just kind of pull it together and then be available at some time in the future where it can be used to help maybe diagnose an illness or something else.
I mean, I think there's like direct and maybe there's like we can call it direct and indirect information that the car will receive. I mean, if you're wearing like your smartwatch, maybe that wires up with the car. The smartwatch can like listen to your heartbeat, blood pressure, and so forth. But also, of course, since you're talking about like human sensors, Bonnie, I mean, you don't really need a human sensor to understand that someone is hungry after maybe driving for 5 hours without stopping. I guess.
This is true. Are you aware there's a ring you can wear now that has sensors in it that does all of your body bio? A relative of mine
Literally
has
nothing. I'm even wearing a mechanical watch.
It's a metal ring, and it senses all of your body information and reports it to an app. I have a friend who's wearing one of those. It's an attractive ring. It's very thick and it's metal, and it fits on the finger. And you buy it based on finger size. I don't know whether it's flexible or not. My bed tells me my sleep habits. It's a smart bed, and it tells me my breathing rate. It tells me my heart rate variability. It tells me how long it took me to go into a restful sleep. It tells me how many times I got up during the night. We won't talk about that. Thank you very much. And it won't tell me what I dream about. Thank God for that. Very, very interesting. Thank you, Simon. That was provocative. Eric, I'm going to pick two of your predictions here and put them together.
Right.
I know it's a twofer day here. So you say AI-powered smart traffic systems will reduce congestion and emissions, but going with that, I'm adding number 4. AI-powered predictive maintenance will make breakdowns a thing of the past. So if we pair congestion and emissions with breakdowns, because congestion could be a car stuck on the road. I hope that's okay. So why don't you unpack those? Good.
I'm still trying to process if my bed would talk to me and sense things. I really never want that, Bonnie, but
it does. It's an app. It doesn't talk to me. Go ahead.
Okay. I'm just imagining something. All right. So what are AI traffic systems, right? Well, AI traffic systems will collect real-time data from each and every car. So this is going to be device to device, which is very different from device to cloud back to device. You'll get cameras, sensors, GPS, and it'll be integrated with lights, right? Street lights. It'll be integrated with construction, anything that's along the roadway, and it'll analyze congestion patterns. It'll use AI-driven algorithms. We'll predict and adjust traffic flow by optimizing lights, by optimizing speed limits. So no more the fixed speed limit signs. You'll see them adjust. And detours, suggest detours. So think of it as like a Waze, the Waze driving app, but everybody's now on the same wavelength. And these things are all communicating kind of like a hive, right? So it's going to take some time to get there. We're going to need some infrastructure. I think the biggest holdback here is infrastructure improvements in different parts of the world. I think the technology is already there, but it's going to take, I think, until at least 2035 to us to really start to see this emerge. There are some cities that are doing some things like this already, like Singapore, like Dubai. They're testing some things in LA for AI-powered adaptive signals. Pittsburgh's actually doing some AI traffic lights, so that's kind of cool. So you'll see pockets of different innovation, but over time, we'll get to the point where traffic flow is much easier. You can have more driverless vehicles. And I'm a fan of Waymo. I used it a bunch in San Francisco several times. I think what they're doing is pretty interesting. But with the way congestion is, look, I lived in Austin for 21 years, and Austin's a complete disaster with congestion. And of course, I moved up to Chicago, which is no better. So these things have to change, and we're not going to get there with the rail systems or the bus systems. It's going to be things like this.
What about the predictive maintenance? How will that fit into this, Eric?
Well, this is going to kind of go hand in glove, right, with what we're doing on the roadway. So one, you're going to have real-time data collection again from sensors. I mean, the car right now is a moving data center, right? But it's not really integrated. Each manufacturer's got its own thing, and they get the data, but no one else gets the data. And the cars have to start to communicate with one another. So you're going to get data from all these sensors on your engine, your brakes, your battery, your tires, et cetera. Of course, you're already doing this today with the engine temperature and oil, tire pressure, battery health, brake pad wear. But now it's going to take all that data, and car's not going to break down. It's going to predict you before it breaks down, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we're already, I think, 80% of the way there now with what's going on with vehicles, right? But you're going to get this to the point where nobody's going to break down anymore, right? You're not going to have any issues, and it's going to redefine vehicle downtime. It's going to save money. It's going to enhance safety, of course, and you'll have automated maintenance and part ordering. Hopefully, I'd like to break the bottleneck of the manufacturers kind of locking you out of being able to maintain your own car, or different service shops are only certified on certain vehicles. It's kind of like what's going on with the phone thing. It's you can't fix anything anymore. There needs to be a breakdown of that. So again, technology's there today. I think the barriers are more on policy and government and so forth.
Thank you very much. Any quick comments from Simon or Bill on what Eric shared? Are you good?
Yeah, no, I do.
Okay.
Not sure how quick this is. I just wanted to raise a question. Because the moment you're talking about traffic flow, the moment you're talking about connecting cars and cars speaking to each other, it's always a question of, based on what objectives and goals are you optimizing the routes? So there's always the bigger, common, greater good, overall better traffic flow, or are you optimizing the individual car? Like if I'm the car, do I have to take a longer way for the greater good? So the traffic is running smoother. So that's one question. The next question is like, okay, maybe there's not only the individual objectives versus the common greater good, but the common greater good could also mean the air quality within the city center. That could also mean like protecting roads with like a few kindergartens there. Yeah. So if my way would be shorter and a lot quicker, if I'm driving past 2-3 kindergartens, great. But maybe the common greater good is like, hey, actually, we don't want to have that many cars there, or we don't want to have that many cars in these smaller roads, because then the air quality is going to get worse in that area.
Yeah, and I think it's really about traffic flow optimization, because when you have congestion and people running their cars for longer, that's worse for the air, right? That's worse quality. And billions of dollars are lost in productivity, right? So that's tracked all the time. And I would think that there are going to be roadways that are approved for routing and stuff that is not approved, right? Where you'll have special zones to say, hey, now that's like I said before, that's more governmental, and that's usually what slows down progress in a good way, right? Because we don't want autonomous vehicles running over pedestrians, right?
No,
We don't,
Of course
so
not.
please not. Please.
sacrifice for the common good. But, and the arguments on the other side are like, yeah, that happens, that has happened, but how many less accidents that are fatal? So again, you're seeing all this. I think the challenge is not the technology, it's the cooperation at the federal, city, state, especially in the US, right? We've got 50 different governments and 50 different
Okay.
states.
All
That
right.
makes it much harder. No. I'm just saying.
You're
These
right.
are,
You're
I'm
right.
not talking politics. I'm talking
No, I know that.
coordination.
I know that.
That's
I
the
want to
issue.
get Bill to weigh in on this. Bill, any comments? Because I'm about to go to Bill's predictions, which are different
Let's
from
go.
anything the other two sent me. So, Bill, anything you want to say for this?
Well, sure. First, let me say, so I've been in Atlanta for the last 24 years, and Atlanta is routinely ranked second in terms of traffic congestion.
Yep.
However, we have the longest commute in the
Okay.
in the list, right? So there may be other cities with more cars, but we spend more times in the congestion due to the traffic. So and this really is a place to Eric's point, and right, that we can make a big difference. If once the cars are speaking edge to edge and communicating what's, where they are, some of the simple things that cause traffic. I'm sure we've all been driving and approached what looked like a traffic jam. We stop, we crawl at like 5 miles an hour for a little bit, and then suddenly the traffic just resumes, and nobody knows why that was there. Right? There's this phenomenon called the traffic wave, which is kind of like the butterfly effect, when such that if somebody taps their brakes, that causes a traffic jam behind them.
All the way back. Yeah.
Response, right? So if we could, leveraging AI, and we can do this to Eric's point, we can already do this today, right? We can monitor everything that's happening in the road. We've got cars have all got cameras on them now at this point. Mine's, I think got 13 or 14 or something like that. So you can see everything. You can see how learn the individual's driving, and the cars can be smart enough to respond and avoid things like that phenomenon, such as the traffic wave. And the other thing is, it's more than just the governments, right? It's the large car manufacturers have all got to get together and agree to make this data available to us and make it available to the service providers, because they may not be the ones who come up with the solution. It may be Eric's company, Clearblade, or Ingress, right? That answers that question and solves that problem. But they have to let us try. They have to give us the opportunity to help them with it.
I have a one-word quote from the movie The Princess Bride. You all remember this? Inconceivable.
Yep, of course.
I had to say that.
Until it isn't.
I'm so sorry. I will tell you also, talking about congestion and traffic goals and driving preferences, I'm the kind of person who doesn't like roads that are scary, where I'm going over a body of water on a very sharp curve. And there's one here at Highway 444, which comes out of the village I live in Loudon, Tennessee. I will not go there. I will find a way, even if it's longer, to get to where I'm going, so I feel safer and more comfortable on the road. So that would be a preference I would want baked. It's like when I used to commute to Manhattan, and I had a bad experience on the train one day. I always took local trains, the Long Island Railroad. I would wait an extra hour in Penn Station at rush hour to get a local out to Long Island, because I was afraid if anything happened, I couldn't get off the train. So I took locals. I would literally wait in a packed waiting area in Penn Station for a half hour to 45 minutes until a local came and opened, and then I would take that because I felt safer with the door opening every 10 stops to get to my. So Eric is rolling his eyes. Sometimes we don't want the fastest way. Sometimes our comfort level is very personal. So I'll just say that. So I want to get to, thank you, great conversation. I may change the format of this show to 3 instead of 4 panelists from now on, because I'm enjoying, Simon, your word.
More time.
We're getting immersive. We're having an immersive conversation. Bill, I want to go to your predictions. You have one that I thought was very interesting. Bill says, if we look far enough out, AI-driven driver's ed class and driving instructors will provide real-time instruction, feedback to the new driver. In the more near term, it may simply provide additional instruction in terms of efficiency, like good habits, reducing gas consumption, or breaking patterns that result in more maintenance. I thought that was interesting. And he compares this with AI will dynamically reconfigure vehicle performance, fuel efficiency, acceleration tuning, etc. Let's talk about that driver's ed experience, Bill. What do you think?
Yeah, it's funny because when you asked for the predictions, I was thinking about my niece who's just started learning to drive, and we were talking about sending her to the same driving school that my daughter and son had attended. And I thought, and at that moment, I thought, well, that's an opportunity for AI to kind of come in and really educate them, the student, not the student, but the young driver, in new and exciting ways, right? So when you're driving with your parent or you're driving with your instructor, right, you're gonna, the only feedback you have is what they're sharing with you. But the car has the ability to communicate with you by jiggling the steering wheel or vibrating the brake if you're on the brake too hard. There's lots of things you could do. And again, at that time, I was busy thinking when I had to go learn to get my drive and get my driver's license, I lived in New York, and I think we had to sit through a 4-hour class where the instructor, yeah, it was terrible. And it was a friend of mine's dad. He wouldn't let me out of it and sign the card anyway. But
Mr. Yorman. Mr. Yorman was my driving instructor. I don't know who he is. Go ahead, Bill.
Dale Eggert here at
I remember
Libertyville.
teaching us was that if we see a red light approaching as we're driving, obviously you don't want to accelerate, but you may want to start slowing down a little bit sooner, so it'll.
No, it sounds like my wife.
It'll
You could get you get an AI wife too, Simon.
Did you see the red lights?
Oh, we are really going down the downhill.
There we go. Yeah.
Oh, we're allowed to have a
My wife
serious.
doesn't say anything; she just jumps. Like
We're allowed to have a serious conversation and laugh at the same time. I like this very much. I think we just changed the whole format of my show. Thank you, Bill. That's very interesting. I'm sure everybody has their own driver's ed experiences. Bill, where in New York were you in school taking driver's ed?
oh, we were about 60 miles north of Manhattan.
Oh, that's not New York. I'm sorry, that doesn't count. I was born in Queens and I lived on Long Island for 35 years. And no, that's you're somewhere else. It's called New York State. Yeah, no, okay.
Yeah. And New York State would be happy to let New York City go, except for New York City is where all the money's at.
There, I know. What can I tell you? People still think I come from New York. What can I tell you? I don't have a Tennessee accent yet, but I learned to say y'all once in a while. There we go. I am just delighted with this conversation. Eric, what'd you think? How'd we do?
Oh, it's fantastic. Nice to meet Simon. Simon, fantastic
nice
collaborating with you. I knew Bill would be great. Bill's been
Absolutely. Bill, you're a delight and so much great information. Simon, what'd you think? How'd we do? Pretty good?
I love it. It's great. It's a really great dynamic today.
Yeah, I'm glad. I usually shy away from 3-person panels because my format is 4, but I said, the 3 of you, and I hadn't even met Bill, but I looked at your predictions. I said, these are heavy hitters. These are really savvy. We're going to have a great conversation. Then I said, let's talk about our cars. So there we go. We have about 2 minutes left. I think we'll end on time, and I will invite the 3 of you back to continue this conversation. I think there's a lot more, some fresh predictions. I'll tell you which ones we used, add a couple, and we'll do it early summer. Would you like to come back and do that?
Sure.
Okay, let's do that.
Let's stories for you, about 3 or 4 more, so we could just do that.
I need more stories, and I'll send you all a link. I posted my almost not here car accident story on Medium about a week ago, and I'll send you a link.
Wow.
I get a couple more views. It's hard to get viewed among millions of stories. I want to say thank you to Jordan, our engineer at Voice America Business. I want to say thank you to all of you. We have about a minute to go. I want you, Bill, you're going to be initiated now. I want you all to shake your finger on the count of 3. You're going to join me in saying no. Everybody put up a nice finger. There we go. Sure. Simon, Eric. On the count of 3, we're going to say no. People say the future is already here. And our answer is 1, 2, 3. No. That was pretty good. Jordan, can you write them down as tied for first place? I don't remember who the other panel was, but that was really good. I'm Bonnie D. Happy to be here. This is Technology Revolution, the future of now. We'll be back next Wednesday with another topic. I lose track. I'm booked months ahead. If you, our viewers, our listeners anywhere, have an interesting topic and you can bring a panel of really smart, savvy people, my 3 panelists today set the bar really, really high. It's going to be hard to match this level. We'll be back next week. I'm going to put the music on, and Jordan, we're going to go out on time. So hold on, let me get my my maestro here. That's me. Oh, raise the volume. Let's see all the, here we go. Let's take this out.
Are you tired of hearing the future is already here? We are too. That may have been yesterday's future, but today's future hasn't happened yet. Take a deep breath, tune out the hype, the noise, and turn up the volume. Savvy, art of the possible technology visionaries talking about how today's innovations right now are shaping every aspect of our real future. We'll laser focus our spotlight on buzzworthy tech like artificial intelligence, machine learning, Internet of Things, augmented reality, and lots more. Clear your calendar and open your mind for Technology Revolution, the future of now, with the most upbeat host on global radio, Bonnie D. Graham. Listen anywhere, anytime, on any device.
That was recorded about 6 years ago, and I found it, and I thought it was a really fun way to close the show. So everybody wave, don't go away. We're going to say goodbye to LinkedIn, bye to Facebook, bye to YouTube, bye to everybody, and we'll talk for a minute. Thank you, Jordan. We're going to close out now. Jordan, are we good?